When a traveler in north-central Massachusetts takes the wrong fork at the junction on the Aylesbury Pike, just beyond Dean's Corners, he comes upon a lonely and curious country.
Across a covered bridge, a small village huddles between the Miskatonic's oddly serpent-like upper reaches and the vertical slope of Round Mountain. The cluster of rotting gable roofs recalls the architecture of an earlier period.
Afterwards, one learns that he has just been through Dunwich.
Outside this township of Dunwich, in a large and only partially inhabited farmhouse, Wilbur Whately was born at 5 o'clock of a Sunday morning on the 2nd of February, 1913.
Yes, it's true. Lavinia Whately.
Wizard Whately's albino daughter? That poor, ugly creature. Not really.
Last month, Mamie Bishop went by and saw it. Says you wouldn't think Lavinia was ugly if you'd seen that baby.
Oh.
Says he looks like a little black goat.
Oh, my.
Lavinia seems right proud of him, though.
Who's the daddy?
Don't know. Lavinia ain't telling. And old Wizard Whately, he just laughs whenever anyone asks him. Just laughs and laughs.
I don't care what folks think. If my girl Lavinia's boy looks like his pa, he wouldn't look like nothing you'd expect. I calculate her man is as good a husband as you can find this side of Aylesbury. Let me tell you something. Someday, you folks will hear a child of Lavinia's a calling its father's name on top of Sentinel Hill.
Hush-a-bye, hush-a-bye, sweet baby, my sweet baby. Tell you things I will. Tell you all the things, ill things. Show you things I will. Show you thy granddad's books. They be yourn. Once you get fit for them, sweet baby. Such a good baby you be. Show you that daddy I will. Bye-bye, baby button. Daddy's gonna hunting. Daddy's gone.
Wizard, I brung the ordinary cows you bought off my boy Curtis.
And here be your price, Zachariah.
These be good coins, Wizard? Don't look like any I seen afore.
Oh, they be good. Gold be gold, cousin. Gold be gold.
And, you be wanting 2 more cows next week?
Aye. And the week after that.
Oh, yeah?
And the week after that. And the week after.
Aye, that's what he says. 2 ordinary cows every week. Paid for 'em with gold. That gold of his'n. Thing is, Curtis and me, we keep taking cows out to Wizard. But there's never more than 10, 12 cows to be seen. Oh, the sorriest looking critters, too. Right bloodless. Weird sores on 'em almost like cuts. Wizard, he had 'em too, on his neck. I mentions it to him, and he laughs. Just laughs. Like it's the funniest thing he ever heard.
In the spring, after Wilbur's birth, Lavinia resumed her customary rambles in the hills, bearing in her misproportioned arms her swarthy child. Wilbur's growth was phenomenal. Within 3 months of his birth, he had attained a size and strength not usually found in infants under a full year of age. So no one was really surprised when he began to walk at 7 months. In another month, he ran.
Hush-a-bye, hush-a-bye.
It was Halloween in 1913. I seed him, about midnight, right afore Whizzer Whately lit his big fire atop Sentinel Hill, like every year. I was looking to catch a heifer would strayed, and I saw him by the light of the moon. The boy were running up the hill, his mother right behind. Most dropped my lantern then. Naked they was. At least Lavinia Whately was. The little boy, Wilbur, seemed like he was wearing dark trousers and maybe a belt with a fringe. I won't forget that.
My name is Houghton, and I have a medical practice in Owlsbury, so I know something about the people in Dunwich. I never treated Wilbur Whately, but I saw him pretty often when I went out to the village. He was a prodigy, but in a strange way. He started to talk at 11 months, and when he spoke, he was obviously highly intelligent. He was large, very large for someone his age, and his face was strangely mature. Oh, he was as chinless as his mother and grandfather, but his predominant nose and large dark eyes made him almost look like an adult. And he was exceedingly ugly, with something goatish, animalistic about him. The people in Dunwich feared the boy, even more than they feared his grandfather, Wizard Whately. As for his mother, I don't even think they thought of her at all.
Old Whately began to repair the unused parts of his house, a sprawling, peaked roof structure whose rear end was buried entirely in the rocky hillside, and whose 3 least ruinous floors had always been sufficient for himself and his daughter. Now he began restoring the long-abandoned upper story of the house, and all the windows in the reclaimed section he tightly boarded up.
He fitted out another downstairs room for his new grandson, lining its walls with tall, sturdy shelving, along which he began to arrange, in careful, if indecipherable order, all the rotting ancient books and parts of books he had gathered over his lifetime.
I made some use of 'em. Yeah, good use of 'em. But the boy's fit to make better use of 'em. He ought to have 'em as soon as he can. But they're going to be all of his learning. He ought to have 'em for his work.
When Wilbur reached a year and 7 months old, that was September 1914, he had grown as large as a normal child of 4. He was a fluent speaker and precociously intelligent. At home, he would pore diligently over the quaint pictures and charts in his grandfather's books, while Lord Whately would instruct him and catechize him through the long afternoons.
Yog Sothoth.
Yog Sothoth.
Engae. Engaha.
Engae. Engaha.
Pugshagog. Eha. Yog Sothoth. Sothoth.
Bug Sagog. Ea. Yog Sothoth. Sothoth.
Yog Sothoth.
Yog Sothoth.
As for Lavinia Whately,
Oh, callers would find Lavinia alone on the ground floor of the big house, while strange shouts and footsteps resounded from the boarded-up second floor. She would never say what her father and the boy were doing up there. Once, a fish peddler jokingly tried the locked door leading up to the stairway.
You stay away from there. What there be ain't for you, nor any like you. You stay away from there, or it's Pa you have to deal with.
She went crazy screaming at me just because I asked about all the noise. It was like they had a horse up there, damn big horse, stomping around. And the smell, Lord, and they say fish stink.
For a decade, the doings of the Whateleys disappeared from the life of the community of Dunwich.
Then in 1923,
when Wilbur Whateley was 10 and looked like 20, his grandfather remarked on a great number of whippoorwills flying out of Cold Spring Glen to cry under his bedroom window at night.
They whistle right in tune with my breathing now, and I guess they're getting ready to catch my soul. They know it's going out soon and don't calculate to miss it. You'll know, boy, after I'm gone whether they got me or not. If they do, they'll keep on a-singing and a-laugh until break of day. If they don't, they'll quiet down and fly away.
On Lammas night in 1924, I was summoned in haste to the Whateley house. There I found old Whateley in a grave state, with a faltering heartbeat and stentorian breathing. That told me his end was not far off. His shapeless albino daughter and monstrously huge grandson stood by the bed, while from overhead came a disquieting, rhythmical or surging lapping, as of waves on a beach. But I was most disturbed by the chattering night birds outside the window. A limitless legion of whippoorwills that chirped and cried in uncanny, unnatural unison with the man's dying wheeze and gasp.
More space, Willie. More space soon. You grows, and that grows faster. It'll be ready to serve you soon, boy. Open up the gates to Yog-Sothoth. Recite the long chant you'll find on page 751 of the complete edition. And then put a match to its prison. Fire from earth can't burn it nohow.
Mr. Whateley, lie down. Mr. Whateley, you really must try and...
Feed it regular like, Willie. And mind the quantity. But don't let it grow too fast. For if it bursts its quarters, or gets out afore you opens to Yog-Sothoth, it's all over, no use. Only them from beyond can make it multiply and work. Only them, the old ones, as wants to come back.
Whateley! Mr. Whateley! Whateley!
The birds! Can't you hear them? In tune with his breathing. They're gonna catch him! They're gonna catch him!
Miss Whateley, please be still! Miss Whateley! The birds, they've stopped.
They didn't get him. They didn't get him.
Pa! Oh, Pa! Pa!
So passed Wizard Whateley.
On Lammas night,
1924.
leaving all his worldly possessions to his grandson, Wilbur Whateley. Mother, Lavinia Whateley.
Father, unknown.
Boy got to be quite a scholar, all the time writing off to strange places. Got letters back too. Boston, Arkham, Chicago, even Paris, France. You wouldn't believe it, but some quality folk visited out there. Pfft. Never came more than once, though.
Kept on building like his grandpa, tearing out, nailing up, redoing the whole house. Kept buying cattle like his grandpa, too, paid with that same funny gold. And he kept growing, too. In 1925, he was fully 6 3/4 feet tall. He was 12.
He hated his poor old mother. Poor Lavinia. First a father died and then a boy turned on her. I seed her in September of 26, right before she died, or whatever happened to her. She were right terrified of Wilbur by then.
There be more about him as I knows than I can tell you, Mamie. Nowadays, There's more about him than I know myself. I vow our God, I don't know what he wants, nor what he's trying to do.
That Halloween, the hill noises sounded louder than ever before, and the fire burned on Sentinel Hill brighter than ever before.
But people paid the most attention to the rhythmical screaming of the vast flocks of unnaturally belated whippoorwills circling the darkened Waitley farmhouse that night.
Their pandemonium filled the countryside, and not until dawn did they finally quiet down and flee southward, a full month overdue. What this meant, no one could say.
But poor Lavinia Waitley, the misshapen albino mother of Wilbur, bride of whoever, was never seen again.
Wilbur never said a thing about his ma, and nobody had the guts to ask him about her neither. He just kept working on that house, ripping the insides out now, moved himself and all those rotting old books into one of the sheds. That were the summer of 1927. That's when he got to looking so worried and troublous. That's when he started sending letters all over the world.
The complete edition. Open up the gates. The long chant you'll find on page 751 of the complete edition. Complete edition.
From the Widener Library, Harvard University, to Mr. Wilbur Waitley, Dunwich, Massachusetts. Mr. Waitley, I regret to inform you that we will be unable to supply you with the volume you've requested. While your credentials are quite in order, I'm certain that you will understand our reluctance to comply with your request due to the nature of the book in question.
Page 751 of the complete edition.
From the Bibliothèque Nationale, Paris, France, to Mr. Wilbur Waitley, Waitley House, Dunwich, USA. Monsieur Waitley, it is not the policy of the Bibliothèque Nationale to lend out copies of rare books, especially when they must be shipped overseas. Should you wish to view the book within the confines of the Bibliothèque Nationale, however, I am certain that something could be arranged.
From the curator of Victoria and Albert Museum, London, to Mr. Wilbur Waitley, Dunwich, USA. At this time, our rare books collection is accessible only to staff members of the museum engaged in serious research into the occult. Therefore, we are unable to honor your request for access to our copy of the Necronomicon.
From the Librarian University of Buenos Aires, Senor. Contrary to rumors, at no time has the University of Buenos Aires had within its library the blasphemous text which you have referred to in your letter. Might I remind you that Argentina is a Catholic country, and as such would never tolerate the presence of such a volume.
Fools! Oh, you don't know! Granda, you've done us all with your blasted incomplete text! You've done us all!
From the library of Miskatonic University at Arkham to Mr. Wilbur Waitley of Dunwich Village. Dear Sir, yes, we do have a copy of the book you inquired about in your recent correspondence. It is kept under lock and key in our rare books collection, for reasons of which I am certain you are well aware. Due to its age and value, as well as its subject matter, we are unable to honor your request that we ship it to you. However, should you undertake the journey to Arkham,
I will arrange for you to have access to the volume in order to complete your research. In answer to your second question, you are absolutely correct. Our copy is Olaus Wormius's Latin version, printed in Spain in the 17th century of the Necronomicon of the mad Arab Abdul Alhazred. Sincerely, Henry Armitage, librarian, special collections. Should I undertake the journey to Arkham?
Down, Ramesses! Down, I say! What has got into you?
Dr. Armitage.
Yes, I'm Dr. Armitage. Oh, dear.
I be Wilbur Whately, come from Dunwich to see your copy of the Necronomicon, Wormius's Latin edition.
Yes, of course. Forgive me, Mr. Whately. I didn't expect you to be so tall.
I'd be almost 8 feet. Last time I checked, it'd be a glandular condition, hereditary.
Yes. That book is in the case over here. Just let me get it unlocked. There it is, Mr. Whately. Abdul El-Hazred's Necronomicon.
Excellent. Oh, now we'll see, Grandad. Now we can compare side by side. All ye power, perfect and imperfect. I have both of ye now. Both of ye.
Good Lord, man. Do you know what you have there?
I do. And I reckon you know too. Dee's book. Dr. Dee's book. The only version of the Necronomicon in English. My granda, he left it to me.
Why, it's priceless.
Imperfect is what it be. Someone took pages from it. Pages I need for my research.
Oh, of course. For your, research.
Here ye be, right where Grandad said I'd find ye. And nor is it to be thought that man is either the oldest or the last of Earth's masters, or that the common bulk of life and substance walks alone.
The old ones were.
The old ones are.
The old ones shall be.
Not in the spaces we know, but between them.
They walk serene and primal, undimensioned and unseen.
Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and the guardian of the gate. Past, present, future, all are one in Yog-Sothoth.
By their smell can men sometimes know them near, but of their semblance can no man know, saving only in the features of those they have begotten on mankind. And of those are there many sorts, differing in likeness from man's truest eidolon to that shape without sight or substance, which is then.
They walk unseen in foul and lonely places where the words have been spoken and the rites howl through their seasons.
The wind gibbers with their voices and the earth mutters with their consciousness.
They bend the forest and crush the city, yet not forest nor city may behold the hand that smites.
Kadath in the cold waste hath known them, and what man knows Kadath?
The ice deserts of the south and sunken cities of oceans hold stones, whether their sealed is engraved. But the haze in the deep seas or the sealed tower long guarded with seaweed and barnacles.
Great Cthulhu is their cousin, and yet he spied them only dimly.
As of foulness shall ye know them. Their hand is at your throat, yet ye see them not, and their habitation is even one with your guarded threshold.
Yog-Sothoth is the key to the gate whereby the spheres meet.
Man rules now where they ruled once.
They shall soon rule where man rules now.
After summer is winter.
And after winter, summer.
They wait, patient and potent.
For here shall they reign again. Ah, yeah. That be it.
Lord God.
Mr. Armitage, I reckon I've got to take this book back home. There's things in it I've got to try under certain conditions. It would be a mortal sin to let a foolish red tape rule hold me up. Just let me take it along, sir, and I'll swear that nobody won't know the difference. I don't need to tell you that I'll take good care of it. It wasn't me that put the D copy in the shape it is.
What? No. I'm afraid that is totally out of the question, Mr. Whately. I'm sure you understand that. No.
Yeah. I understand, all right. Well, if you feel that way about it, maybe Harvard won't be so fussy as you be. Good day to you, Mr. Armitage.
Good day to you, Mr. Whately. As a foulness shall ye know them. I know you, Mr. Whately. It took me a minute, but I know you. Dunwich stock. Well seasoned with what my colleagues would call inbreeding. Inbreeding? Good God! Show them Arthur Macon's great godpan and they'd call it a common Dunwich village scandal. Oh yes, I know you. Born on Candlemas, 9 months after May Eve of 1913, when the whispers about earth noises reached clear to Arkham. What walked on the mountains that May night? I know who you are, Mr. Whately. But just what you are, I can't begin to guess.
They wait, patient and potent, for here shall they reign again.
The Dunwich Horror itself came into our world between Lammas Night and the equinox in 1928.
Dr. Armitage, along with Professor Warren Rice and Dr. Francis Morgan, were privileged to witness its monstrous prologue.
I say, does anyone seem to know what's been going on here? Has there been a break-in? It looks like
What's
something's
going on?
happened. I hear weird sounds.
What's happening? So that happened down the... Good lordy!
Let me through, please. I must get through. Let me through.
Armitage, over here!
Rice? Morgan, what is going on? What are all these people doing here?
How sound do you sleep anyway, Armitage? They're here because of the scream. It must have woken half of Akram.
What's going on? Hey, Professor,
Is that
what's going
Ramses?
on? What's going on?
What the devil is he doing in the library?
What's happening here?
We think he's attacked some intruder. Look, the Herbert West Memorial window is shattered. The intruder must have broken in here and Ramses followed him.
Good dog, good dog.
Then the intruder must still be inside. Gentlemen, the constabulary appearing to have the crowd under control, it is now our duty to enter the library and render Ramesses due assistance.
Us? Surely that's a job for the police.
Have you forgotten our recent conversation regarding the village of Dunwich and certain of its citizens, living and dead?
No.
Does it strike you that there are an unusual number of whippoorwills present tonight, especially for this time of year?
Well, yes, there are.
I rest my case. Forward!
It seems to be coming from the small genealogical reading room.
Lord, what is that smell? I can barely breathe.
The light switch, man. Turn on the light. Ah, Ramesses, good boy. Stout fellow. Come here.
Oh my God.
It has to be over 9 feet tall. What in God's name is it?
Ramesses has ripped off all its clothes and part of the skin. At least, I think that's skin.
Partly human. It's at least partly human. Look at the hands and the head and that goatish chinless face.
Good evening, Mr. Whately. Come to do some midnight reading, have you?
It's dissolving. The curse thing's dissolving.
Oh, notes. Take notes. Down for a camera.
My God, Armitage, notes on what? How do you describe a hellish nightmare?
Try, damn it. It's almost human above the waist.
Human? Its chest is like a crocodile's hide and its back is like a snake's and below its waist?
Oh, take this down. Below its waist, the skin is covered with coarse black fur.
Forget the fur, man. Those are tentacles protruding from its abdomen. There must be 20 of the damn thing.
Covered with red, sucking mouths, and on its hips.
Their eyes, good Lord, their eyes on its hip. Tail.
No, that's not a tail. It's a trunk. Madness. Oh, I'm going to be sick.
Get a grip, man, for the sake of your own sanity. Look, its legs are like a dinosaur's, a theropod.
The feet. Oh, there's no description for the feet. Not hooves, not claws.
Blood? Blood?
It seems to have no genuine blood. Only this stinking greenish-yellow ichor pooling on the floor.
The birds. The birds, they're leaving. It's almost as if something were chasing them.
They didn't get him. They didn't get him. They're fleeing, Morgan. Fleeing from that which they had sought to feed on.
The body, it's all dissolved. Evaporated. Nothing left. No bones, no skull.
No, nothing. It seems Mr. Wilbur Whately has vanished as thoroughly as his father. His nameless father.
Wilbur Whately was dead, or what had passed for Wilbur Whately, now passed for dead.
A manuscript written in a huge old ledger with strange characters was found in a valise left behind by the creature.
The tome was seized by Dr. Armitage of Miskatonic University for study and possible translation.
It was in the dark of September 9th that the horror broke loose in Dunwich.
About 7 o'clock the next morning, Luther Brown, George Corey's hired boy, rushed back from his every morning chore of taking Corey's cows up to 10 Acre Meadow.
Up there in the road, past the glen, Miss Corey, there's something been there. It smells like thunder, and all the bushes and little trees is pushed back from the road. And that ain't the worst, neither. There's prints in the road, Miss Corey. Great round prints as big as barrelheads. All sunk down deep like an elephant's been along. Oh, and the smell was awful. Like what it is around Wizard Whately's old house.
You just sit there, Luther, and catch your breath. A lot of foolishness, if you ask me. The nearest place to Whately's is Seth Bishop's. I'll get to the bottom of this. You see if I don't.
Yes? Hello?
Sally Sawyer. That you?
Yes, Miss Corey, it be me. Miss Bishop ain't here.
You'll do. Luther Brown done come running in full of foolishness about strange doings by old Wizard Whately's.
Oh, yes, Miss Corey, it's true. My boy Chauncey been up on the hill toward Whately's, and he just come back a-running. He couldn't talk for being scared. He says old Whately's house is all blowed up.
Blowed up?
Yes, like there'd been dynamite inside. All the timbers is scattered around, and it's dripping with tar stuff. It smells awful. And there's marks in the yard, too. Great round marks bigger than a hog's head. The side of the barn is smashed down, and the stone walls tumbled every which way.
T'ain't possible, Sally. You know it ain't possible.
And he says as how he went looking for Seth's cows, scared as he was, and he found him in the upper pasture by the devil's hop yard. In awful shape. Half of 'em clean gone, and near half of 'em as is left, some dry most of blood, with sores on 'em like on Whately's cows.
Luther, you go find your pa and my man, and you tell him to get up to Wizard Whately's right now. There's something strange up Cold Spring Glen. Luther!
I reckon them tracks must go into Cold Glen. I always say that Glen ain't no healthy nor decent place. Miss Corey, you still there? Miss Corey? Miss Corey?
Gone. All of it. Smashed flat to the ground. Like something stomped on it.
Look at them prints. Just like Chauncey and Luther said. Like they was made with hogshead barrels.
It's all the way down to Cold Spring Glen. Trees shoved out of the way, or ripped right out of the ground. Whatever busted loose from Whately's done gone in that ravine. It was just as though the house had slid down the slope.
You see anything down there, Seth?
Nope, and I didn't have no strong urge to go look.
Yeah?
This be old Wizard Whately's doing. All that witching and chanting and such.
What are we gonna do?
Warn folk. Hope it'll pass. All three of them witch folk be gone now. Maybe it will be gone soon too.
Back where it come from.
Or to wherever it be going to.
So, everyone went home and every house and barn was barricaded as stoutly as possible. Nothing moved around the village of Dunwich. Nothing human, at any rate. But people saw, and phones rang from house to house to house.
Last night it were at Sir Elmer Fry's. Selina told me so just now. Smashed the barn in, it did. No, they didn't see nothing, just the sides of the barn bursting out like they was being pushed. And the cows, they were screaming, she says, just a-screaming. And in the morning when Elmer Fry went out to look...
Knocked flat, just like at Wizard Whately's. More than big prints all over the place. And the cows, Lord, only found about a quarter of them. Pieces of them, anyway.
Had to shoot the ones that were still alive. All covered with them sores, like on the Whately cows.
Them big prints came from Cold Spring Glen, just stomping everything flat. Them Frys live too close to the ravine. They ought to get out of there. I told Selina. I told her.
There's rats, I tell you. Rats for the hilltops. Stone circle chatting. Used to do it long ago. Used to do it long ago.
The second set of them tracks been found. Going up Sentinel Hill, where those Whateleys used to build the hellish fires and do chants on May Eve and Hallowmas. That tarry mess is all over the place, too.
Maybe some of them Arkham folks might know what to do. Some of the book-learned folks from the school up in...
Oh, it'd be the chants, I tell ye. Chants and fires be the only way to stop it.
Oh, Lord, help. Who's there? Oh, God, help.
Selina Fry?
Help.
Selina Fry, that be you? What's happening?
Someone has to get over.
Selina Fry?
Someone help her.
Oh, my God.
Get over it.
Help. It's trying to get back in the house. He came back. Oh, my God. Oh, please, somebody, anybody. Selina. Selina. Selina, what's that anyway? Anyone know what's
I have to get home right away.
Closest to her. Selina.
Hello?
An hour later, A hastily assembled group of armed men trudged out to the fireplace at the head of Cold Spring Glen. It was horrible, but hardly a surprise. There were more monstrous prints, but there was no longer a house. It had caved in like an eggshell, and amongst the ruins, nothing living or dead could be found. Only a stench and a tarry stickiness. The Elmer Fries had been erased from Dunwich.
The curious manuscript record or diary of Wilbur Whately had been delivered to me at Miskatonic University for translation. It was a baffling piece of work, written in an alphabet resembling Arabic. I had the idea that the alphabet, while an artificial creation, was being used as a cipher for a modern language. Therefore, I attacked the manuscript with the assumption that most of it was in English. On the evening of September 2nd, the last major barrier gave way, and I read for the first time a continuous passage of Wilbur Whately's diary. It was dated November 11th, 1918.
Today learned the upload for the Sabbath, which did not like, it being answering from the hill and not from the air. The upstairs more ahead of me than I had thought it would be, and it's not like to have much earth brain. Grandfather kept saying the dough formula last night, and I think I saw it in the city at the magnetic poles.
If I can't break through with the Dohana formula, I shall go to those poles when the earth is cleared off. When the earth is cleared off?
They from the air told me at Sabbath that it would be years before I can clear off the earth, and I guess Grandfather would be dead then. So I shall have to learn all the angles of the planes and all the formulas between the air and the energy. They from outside will help, but they cannot take Bible without human blood and bone. That upstairs look like it will have the right cast.
I can see it a little when I make the Vorsh
sign
and blow the powder of
the
Ibn Ghazi, and it is near like them at May Eve on the hill. The other face may wear off some. I wonder how I shall look when the earth is cleared, and there are no earth beings on it. Dear God, dear God.
We got here as fast as we could, Henry.
Good Lord, man, you look terrible.
I have translated Wilbur Whately's book. There's a boarded-up farmhouse in Dunwich that must be destroyed.
I beg your pardon, Henry. I didn't quite get that last part. You said destroyed.
It's monstrous. Monstrous beyond the scope of human imagination. Whately's diary is a plan for the extermination of the entire human race and all life on Earth by some terrible elder race of beings from another dimension.
I see. Henry, when was the last time you got some sleep?
Oh, don't patronize me. The whole world is in terrible danger. Elder things want to strip this planet bare and drag it away from the solar system and the world of matter into some other plane of phase from whence it fell, trillions of aeons ago. Here, I've made notes, trying to find something, anything we could use against them. It's been very difficult. In most cases, the cure is almost as bad as the disease. Almost.
Henry, you really should not have taken this copy of the Necronomicon out of the library.
Actually, Remigius de Monolatria has been infinitely more useful. Oh, we have to stop them. Those insane Whateleys meant to let them in, and the worst of all is still out there in Dunwich. Look, I found a formula for making the powder of Ibn Ghazi.
The powder of...
Oh, don't you see? The thing hasn't been fed since the 2nd of August. Not since Whately came here to his death. And at that rate...
Thing?
Oh, it's all in my notes. Read them for yourselves.
Dear God.
This is monstrous madness.
Morgan, we all three saw the body of the thing calling itself Wilbur Whately melt into the air of this very building. I'm not even slightly inclined to treat his diary as the ravings of a simple backwoods madman.
And these incantations, these powders, this will stop it?
Probably not. But we have to try. We have to go to that boarded-up farmhouse in Dunwich and try.
We are meddling with terrible powers.
We are. But I cannot see any other way to annul the greater and more malign meddlings of others. Can you?
So, on a Friday morning, Armitage, Rice, and Morgan set out by motorcar for Dunwich.
That afternoon, we rode around Dunwich, questioning such inhabitants as we could find. Very quickly, we heard what had been happening and saw for ourselves, with rising horror, the enormous swaths of crushed vegetation, the maimed bishop cattle, the blasphemous tracks. But it was at the dreary ruin of the Fry House that we found most of the people of Dunwich, milling in terror and confusion around an abandoned motor car.
There was 5 of them, I tell you. State police up from Aylesbury, come to see what happened.
Should not have told them. Should have kept it to ourselves.
It were murder. Can't keep murder to yourself.
Then where are they?
They were supposed to wait for us, not do nothing till we could get down to them.
The Glen.
What?
God, I told him not to go down into the Glen, and I never thought nobody'd do it. Not with them tracks and that smell and the whippoorwills a-screeching down there in the dark of noonday.
It took the policeman.
Then we've got to work fast. Have you finished memorizing the chant, Henry?
Negotium perambulans in tenebris. Yes, I believe so. And if that doesn't work, I have another one written down. Though I doubt we'll have time for the second if the first one fails. Did you get the powder?
Yes. Knowlton Chemistry got a good batch on the 4th try.
Good. I don't know why you insisted on bringing that thing along, Morgan. No material weapon of any caliber can harm what we are hunting.
Well, it makes me feel better.
So far, the thing's movements have been by night. I think we all agree that it would be suicide to attack it in the dark. As much as I hate to say it, I believe we'll have to wait for it to move out of the
My
barn.
God! Oh my God, it's moving again, and this time in the day!
What? Where?
It's out!
How
It's
do you know?
out and I'm moving this very minute, and only the Lord knows when it'll be on us all.
Where?
Nigh about an hour ago, Zeb here heard the phone a-ringing, and it was Miss Corey, George's wife, that lives down by the junction. She said Luther, the hired boy, was out driving in the cows when he sees all the trees are bending at the mouth of the glen over on the other side of here, and smelled that same smell. And he said there was a swishing, lapping sound, and all of a sudden the trees along the road began to get pushed down to one side. But mind you, Luther didn't see nothing at all there, just the bending trees.
Oh, but that was just the start. Zeb here was calling up folks, and everybody was listening in on the line when a call from Seth Bishop's.
A call from my place?
Mm-hmm.
It was your housekeeper, Seth. She was carrying on fit to kill.
The trees! The trees! I see them bending down by the road, and there's a sound like an elephant puffing and snorting. It's getting close.
It's that smell, Mom. Just like I smelled up at Wizard Whately.
Shut up,
Monday morning.
For God's sake, shut up! Oh, sweet Lord! The shed down by the road just caved in like a storm blown it over.
There goes the picket fence, Mom. But there ain't nothing out there. There ain't nothing there.
The sun hit the front of the house. I can't see nothing out the front windows. But
Mom!
Oh, God, help us! Help us! The house is a caving in.
Oh, God, no.
It was
Not
just
Sally.
like when Emma Fry's place
no,
was
God,
took,
no,
only was.
no.
Not a sound or a squeak. out of the phone after that.
Us that heard it got in our trucks and wagons and rounded up as many able-bodied men as we could get, and come up here to see what you thought were best to do. Oh, not but what I think it's the Lord's judgment for our iniquities that no mortal can ever set aside.
All right. You men.
Men are.
I'm Professor Henry Armitage from Miskatonic University. We have to go and find this thing, and right now.
Amen, sire. I don't know about it.
Now hear me out. I think we have a chance of putting this thing out of business. And a better chance if we attack it in the daylight.
No way.
Would you rather wait until tonight?
No, thank you, though. We appreciate you coming. You're on your own.
You men know that those Whateleys were wizards. Well, this is a thing of wizardry, and must be put down by wizardry. I think I know the right kind of spell to recite to destroy the thing. We've got to take the chance. It's invisible. I knew it would be, but we have a powder that may show it up for long enough. It's frightful to have this thing alive, but it isn't as bad as what Wilbur would have let in if he'd lived longer. Now, we've only this one thing to fight, but we have to confront it. And the way to begin is to go pick up its trail.
I guess you can get to my place quickest by cutting across the lower meadow there, wade the brook, then climb through Carrier's mowing and the timber lot past that. That comes out on the upper road, mighty nigh it.
So we marched, the townsmen trailing along behind us. We found nothing living or dead in the collapsed house and barn at Seth Bishop's place. There was only the stench and the line of horrid prints leading back toward the wrecked Whately farmhouse and forward to the altar-crowned slopes of Sentinel Hill.
Look there. God almighty, the grass and bushes isn't moving. It's going up Sentinel Hill. It's at the top.
But it was only the 3 men from Arkham. Old white-bearded Dr. Armitage, stocky, iron-gray Professor Rice, lean young Dr. Morgan, who ascended the hill.
Well, they were the only ones who had any idea what to do when they got there.
Leaving the men of Dunwich to mill around below and fight over the use of Armitage's telescope.
They's at the top of the beat-down swath. They're spreading out in line. That Rice feller be pulling out them bottles of powder. Something must be about to
Share the
happen.
damn spyglass, Curtis.
No, it's happening now. I can see the spray, the powder, all gray and misty, and...
Catch him, you fool! Catch him!
For God's sake, don't break that telescope!
What did you see, Curtis? Damn you, what did you see?
Bigger than a barn. Shaped like a hen's egg, but all made out of squirming ropes twisted together. Dozens of legs like hogsheads. Nothing solid about it, all made of jelly. Great bulging eyes all over it, and 10, 20 mouths all along the sides, and oh God, the face on top. Oh God.
Listen to that. Sweet Lord, do you hear that?
Forget them damn birds. You got the telescope in your hands. Tell us what you see.
Yeah. I see them, all 3 of them. They're moving back and forth and waving their arms, gesturing. The grass is swirling all over like something writhing in it. That Doc Armitage is shouting, saying the spell.
It's big, bigger than a barn. Eyes all over it, bulging. Ropes wriggling, ropes squirming, and on top, oh God, on top.
Egotium perambulans in tenebris. 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 Egotium perambulans Egotium perambulans in tenebris. 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 Egotium perambulans in tenebris.
It'd be gone. It'd be over.
Yeah, it'd be that. Half the top of Sentinel Hill be blowed off, too.
They was men of learning, those three, and brave, too, even if they was city folk.
They still be. They's coming down the hill, alive, only God and his angels know how.
Soon after, the men from Arkham, shaken, covered in dust and stinking eldritch gore, made their way down to the crowd waiting for them.
Can't believe you done it.
Nothing like that can be.
It's quite amazing.
It always will be.
Can't believe we're still alive.
Are they still alive? Is it coming back?
No. No, it's gone. Gone forever. It could barely exist in the normal world anyway. Most of it was blown back into that abyss out of which only the most accursed rites of human blasphemy could have called it. Back to its father.
Its face, that half a face on top of it, that crinkly hair and no chin, like all the Whateleys. An octopus centipede spider thing. There was half a man's face. On top of it, Wizard Whately's face. But yards across. Oh God, the face.
15 years gone. I heard old Whately say as somehow we'd hear a child of Lavinie's calling its father's name on top of Sentinel Hill. Damned if he wasn't right. Damned anyway.
Wait, Dr. Armitage, what was it, anyhow? And however did Wilbur Whately call it out of the air?
It was mostly a force. A force that doesn't belong to our part of space, working by other laws than those of our part of nature. Only the very wicked would ever call such things. There was something of the same nature in Wilbur Whately, too. Enough to make him a devil and a precocious monster. And to make his passing from our world a terrible sight.
But the thing, Dr. Armitage, and Wilbur.
Wizard Whately used his poor daughter to summon it, to bring it into our world, and raised it to play a terrible part in the things he planned to do. It grew fast and big for the same reason Wilbur grew fast and big. But it outstripped him because it had a greater share of the outsideness in it. I'm going back to Arkham to burn his accursed diary. And you men should burn his grandfather's books.
If you men are wise, you'll dynamite that altar stone on top of what's left of Sentinel Hill, and pull down the rings of standing stones on the other hills.
We will, Professor. We will. And that will keep anything like Wilbur Whately from calling it out of the air again?
Wilbur never called it out of the air. They came in together. You see, it was his twin brother. It just looked more like their father than Wilbur did.
Safe count.
It's in the face.
Ya Satoth. Ya Satoth.
Engai. Engaha. Engai. Engaha. Bookshagog. Iya. Yod Sothor. Sothor. Engai.
Thank you.